What's going on, dudes and dudettes? Yes, surprisingly, there was a lot of USC news, football, basketball, all that stuff, and I know USC has been going through a tough stretch, especially the last two losses, but I still feel confident enough to make a video solo about them, so let's get into some of their news. So a 4-star, or I think one place has him as a 3-star, but a couple places have him as a 4-star, so I'm sticking with that average. He's a small forward / power forward, around 6'7", from the state of Utah, Brody Kozlowski, and he did commit to USC basketball the other day, which is pretty cool. Doesn't seem like crazy athletic, but he is like a little bit of already like a thicker dude, and even at 6'7", yeah, you kind of hope he gets a little bit taller, but if he adds a bit more muscle to that frame, maybe he could be a stout 6'7" down there as a power forward for you. I don't know if he's going to get that much quicker, and it doesn't seem like he's a guy who's going to be a one-and-done type of player. He will be on the roster for a couple seasons, which is nice for Andy Einfeld going into his future as a USC. So either way, I think this is a nice pickup for him, because that one place that has him as a 3-star, he's just right out of the top 100 players next season, but he is considered on the other places top 100, so he's within that 100 players. So either way, I still think they got a talented guy, in my opinion. So looking forward to what he can bring next season and beyond. And then, yes, Jordan Addison, the ex-USC wide receiver, is playing for the Minnesota Vikings, went off on Monday night. Sadly, he was on my fantasy football team. But yes, he did have a pretty awesome game. He had 7 receptions, 124 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns, which is really nice. And he also, I believe, has 6 total touchdowns as of right now in the NFL. And it's early in his career, and I think he's second overall in the NFL right now with those 6 touchdowns. So, yeah, he's obviously really good, making the Chargers draft pick of Quentin Johnston look really bad as well, the wide receiver that they selected in the first round, which I think is right where it started. Like the first round receivers, especially those, there's like a 4-team stretch of guys like him, Flowers, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jordan Addison as well. And of course, the one person that has been playing the best out of them as of right now statistically is Addison. So of course, the Chargers didn't pick him, but I guess it is still considered early in their careers, but it obviously looks like Addison was the better guy, which he always seemed like he was, even the year prior. So I don't know why Chargers didn't take a chance on him, but I guess they have to deal with the Chargers' dumbness. But we did find out a couple of big things about Lincoln Riley this week, because usually he does a weekly thing on Monday, an interview with like the Trojans radio network, and he wasn't available because apparently he was sick, which is kind of interesting. So kind of already the thoughts were swirling that he was already going to leave USC, and then once again on Tuesday he missed not only practice again, but some other of like the after practice interviews that some of the coaches do and players do. So everybody was a bit more wondering what the heck was going on, but I guess he did return to practice yesterday, Wednesday, and it looked like he was being treated for pneumonia, which sucks, but obviously hoping he does get a nice speedy recovery, because you definitely need him, especially your main offensive coach for the game against Cal this Saturday. But yeah, either way, it's pretty interesting. A lot of people thought he was dodging stuff. Even people, did like a Photoshop of him in like the Chicago airport saying that he was visiting the Chicago Bears and all this stuff. Pretty crazy what they do just all of a sudden. But yeah, either way, I guess it just looks like he was being treated for that, which sucks. But like I said, hopefully he does make a full recovery soon. And the Atlanta Hawks forward Onyeka Okongwu, an ex-USC guy, recently received a 4-year, $62 million extension, which is pretty cool. I think people were kind of worried his first couple years he wasn't getting much playing time and not putting up enough stats, but especially the last year or so, he was definitely doing a lot better for them coming off the bench and starting here in spot moments, so he definitely deserved that, in my opinion. A local guy, I think he went to somewhere close out here, like in Chino Hills, that high school, which is pretty cool. So yeah, congrats to Onyeka. And then, yes, when it came to House of Victory, they did sign a basketball power forward in Kajani Wright. I believe he's going into his sophomore season. at USC this year. But yeah, really, when it comes to House of Victory, they haven't made much splash signings or even multiple signings weekly. But this is one of the guys they got recently, and obviously, welcome to the NIL collective with House of Victory. Congrats to Johnny, right? And the other day, USC football did make a couple offers to a bit of future guys like in 2025 and 2026. One of the first guys they offered was a 2026 athlete, Madden Riordan. Hopefully I'm saying that correct. I think he's locally from one of those Sarah high schools. And then in 2026, they offered the number 1 tight end, Brock Harris. And in 2025, they offered a linebacker, Mason Posa, who I believe was recently there at the game. And so he got it. I guess it was an unofficial visit to the game. And then after that, he received an offer, which is pretty cool. I think he's from the state of New Mexico. But yeah, they're still working on the future, I guess. So it doesn't seem like Lincoln Riley's going anywhere. I'll get into a story about that later in the video. But yeah, either way, it's looking pretty solid so far. PFF did a recent top 5 of the highest graded edge rushers last week. And 2 USC guys were in the top 5, Romello Height and Solomon Byrd. So that's pretty cool for them. Sadly, of course, USC lost the game, so what's the point of those stats if you didn't win? But like I said, PFF kind of throws stats at you and you like them, but it doesn't end up in good results a lot of the time, which is pretty crazy. And then Ryan Pelham, USC commit right now, finishing up his senior year in high school, went off his last game. He had like over 200 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns, so that's a pretty nice performance, especially from one of the top local guys out here at wide receiver. So definitely very happy he's still committed to USC at this point. And then Brendan Rice, yes, he recently got an NIL deal with a company called Breathe Right. I think it's like the little breathing strips you put on your your nose. And I believe his father, Jerry Rice, at some point was like part of that company or even was in ads and stuff for that. So that's pretty cool that, the family legacy is still continuing on with the same type of family. So that's pretty awesome to see for them. Even Caleb Williams and his offensive line teammates were recently in a Postmates ad, an NIL deal that they were able to all get, which is pretty cool because obviously the big guys got to eat the offensive line. So it's pretty cool that he obviously included them in there because I'm pretty sure it would have been hard for them to get a deal like that from Postmates just themselves, but either way, it was pretty cool little ad that they put up together. Congrats to Boogie Ellis of USC, who was recently named to the Jerry West award watch list, where I guess it's considered going to the best shooting guard in the country. So congrats to him. I'm sure there are some Duke guys, but I'll get into that in a future video. And yes, good luck to all those NBA USC guys joining or starting the league on Tuesday. I think, there really hasn't been that much because it's only been Evan Mobley, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic, Onyeka Okongwu, Chimezi Metu, Anthony Melton, and Jordan McLaughlin. Metu, I was like, I just wish he had more of a consistent three-point shot, and of course now he does, but sadly he signed one of those cheap, veteran deals with Phoenix, and he's looking pretty good out there in a divisional team for my Lakers. But he's going to be one of the next highest paid guys in my opinion, whether it's they extend him this year or if they can't afford him, then they're going to, wait till next year and some other team's going to snatch him. But definitely looking forward to seeing what he could bring in the near future. And recent analysts for college football, both Matt Leinart and Sua Cravens, obviously both are ex-USC players as well. They recently have been calling out the defense. Obviously, they're seeing what everyone else is seeing. I believe they're more of a trained eye. As Lincoln Riley likes to say, that a lot of people don't understand what's going on the team because they don't have a trained eye. But a lot of people are even doing their homework too, because I think in the Utah game, they asked the defensive coach, because he was the only one pretty much available for interviews this week, how did you let a wheel route go for the running back and you had a defensive end on him and not a real true linebacker or safety / corner? and you allow that like twice for big plays, one for a big touchdown as well early in the game last Saturday. He said, yeah, we just didn't see it. But then, of course, people did their homework, went back and looked at the last game Utah played, and Utah ran the same exact play for the same exact player for a big play as well. So, yeah, he kind of made himself look a bit dumb right there. But even the likes of Ed Orgeron made a comment, I believe, recently where he said he would be into the idea of coming back to USC and working under Lincoln Riley, which is pretty cool because I always thought Ed Orgeron was best when he was at USC and being, I don't know exactly what position he coached. It could have been defensive line. It could be offensive line. I don't know, but he was definitely one of their main recruiters out there and definitely got a lot of those top talented guys to come and stay at USC. So I would not mind him coming. I don't like the idea of him being the defensive coordinator, but definitely one of your top recruiting guys I would definitely like. And he's up to, apparently, according to that, quote, he's up for it to work under Lincoln Riley. So we'll see if that ends up happening. But yeah, recently, I think I forgot to put this in the last video, that after that press conference on Saturday, Lincoln Riley did say that he's going to be at USC for a long time. There's nothing to worry about. We're building this, step by step. And obviously, we're a little bit ahead of schedule last year. But yeah, we're going through a bit of growing pains this year. But it's not like we're going to just run away and hide and, leave and all this stuff. So he said he's definitely in for the long haul. But I mean, even going through my notes, when you look at, there's always questions about the NFL. They're always going to be calling, especially if the Dallas Cowboys end up calling him one of the bigger jobs out there, then you just never know. He might end up jumping at that opportunity. There's also possibilities he could follow Caleb Williams as well and be the head coach of him out there in one of those teams that ends up drafting him. So just never know. And then he did say he was maybe going to retire at 50, and he's already in his low 40s, so it's going to be coming up pretty time soon before you even know. So he could try to make the jump as early as he can to the NFL to see if he's good enough, and then kind of end his career there. But yeah, I think one of his main issues, whether he's in the NFL or college next season and beyond, is if he's going to end up keeping that pesky defensive coach Alex Grinch. So I just think holiday season, time to get rid of the Grinch that stole Caleb Williams' championship run this year and his second Heisman, in my opinion, just because, yeah, Caleb hasn't really been playing 100%. I think that's more due to his finger injury, of him being more consistent. But when your defense is giving up that much points and you're just trying to keep up as much as you can against, teams, secondary teams, and, guys, quarterbacks you never heard of, and all of a sudden they become Heisman candidates because of how good they played against your defense. It's just tough to see. So either way, I guess good luck to USC this weekend against Cal. Most likely not going to watch it, even though I might dip in here and there or check out the score live. But either way, trying to avoid watching USC or Chargers as much as possible. I did say I think I said I'm going to give up football. I'm going to give up watching my teams. I'm still going to watch football now, but I might give up watching my teams, especially since the Lakers and the NBA is going on now too. I might just dip into that a bit more. So yeah, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Fight on.